Okay, today's video is going to cover linear equation world problems with graphs, and we got some notes over here, but the big thing is just to understand the problem and then figure out which of these three components is it asking you for: the slope, the y-intercept, or a coordinate point. So Sergey took a pizza from the freezer and he's putting it in this oven, and the pizza's temperature is a function of the time. So essentially the y value here is the temperature and the x value is the time. And the question's saying, what was the temperature after 2 minutes? So it gives us a value and it's asking us for a value, saying what is the temperature, and we know that temperature is y, so it's essentially saying what is the y after 2 minutes, which we know 2 is x, or minutes is x, sorry. So we're just figuring out a coordinate point here. And we know the y value of that coordinate point is 2. We're trying to figure out the x value. So we're going to go to 2 for y. Sorry. It's giving us an x value, and it's trying to figure out a y value that goes with that x value. So let's go for 2 for x. So 2 minutes is right here, and we're going up to the line. It touches right here, and we know that the y value at that point is 10. So our answer is going to be 10 degrees. So after 2 minutes, the pizza is 10 degrees, which makes sense, especially if he's pulling it out of the freezer. Alright, Amir drove to Jerusalem to the lowest point on Earth, the Dead Sea. His altitude relative to the sea level as a function of time is graphed. So essentially what we have here is his time and how high he is above the sea. So he gets to the Dead Sea, and then because the Dead Sea is a sea without water, he steps in the sea without water, and now he's technically below sea level after 40 minutes. Cool? How fast? So we know it's fast. So I'm going to go and put that word under slope, because fast is a rate. What's the rate that he's descending? So it's asking us for the slope. Easiest way for me to find slope is to use this table. So all I need is just 2 coordinate points from this table. So I'm looking for where it hits a corner of a square. Let's go ahead and use the y-intercept. So we know the y-intercept has an x value of 0. And the y value there is what, 440. And let's go ahead and use the x-intercept. The x-intercept has an x value of 40. And we know that the y value at that x-intercept is 0. Cool. And it says that the slope is negative 11. So I'm just looking for which one is 11. So he's descending. Descend means that it's negative because you're going down 11 meters per minute. Alright, a battery is charged. The percent of the battery's capacity is charged as a function of time in minutes is graphed. So time is x. Plug this battery in, and once we plug it in, after 15 minutes, you can see the charge value of the phone is 70, or whatever the battery is. After 25 minutes, the battery life is at 90, and then at 30 minutes, it is at full charge. Question says, what was the battery's charging level when the charge began? So began is another word for initial, so it's asking us for the y-intercept or the initial value. So when we plugged it in, when the charge began, it would be at 40%. Let me go ahead and get this crazy little keyboard, and 40%. Boom, just like that. Alright, last example. Let's go ahead and rip through it. Okay, here's our last example. So Wilbur lands his plane. The plane's elevation relative to the ground in meters as a function of time in seconds is graphed. So here we have our y value is the elevation. So as this plane gets closer to the ground, it eventually hits the ground after 1700 seconds. Question saying how long was each descent by 50 meters? So we know that's not a coordinate point because it's using the word each. That's another word that describes rate, but it's not necessarily asking us to find the exact slope, but let's go ahead and figure out what the slope is. So I've already got 2 coordinate points in. Trust me that I got them correct. We know that the slope is down here at -5. We know that descent means it's negative, so I'm not even going to write it as 5, so it's descending. Descends at 5 meters, because that's the unit the y value is in, per 1 second. The question's saying, how long, well I should write equals, how long does it take the plane to descend 50 meters? Well, if it takes 1 second to go 5 meters, we know that 5 times 10 would give us 50, and 1 times 10 would give us 10. So it takes 10 seconds to descend 50 meters. And so you're just pretty much scaling up the slope to the value that it wants you to scale it up at. And that's how you do equation word problems with graphs. Good luck.